great job I found in a country in the Americas, the continent, and it wasn't because I don't have a BC or Canada teacher certificate that I didn't get that job. There was a new school starting where all the teachers were going to kind of all share the leadership, and instead of like a principal or a school district, it would have been a great thing. It would have been emergent curriculum and just a lot of adaptive things based on the students themselves. It was a great fit, but the lady in charge said she really noticed in the blogs and things I sent her my passion for education, but quality education, and she said unfortunately that the students right now they're getting funding if the people she hires have U.S. Teacher certification. So I told her I was very, very sad, and a few days later I told her I'm going to see if I can apply for the U.S. certification equivalency, because in BC here it's so hard to, even though I have the training and skills and always kind of ask people, I challenge them to put me in an evaluation that they'll videotape, even comparing myself to somebody with these other certifications, to show that I would do probably most likely better than they would. And that includes things with teacher certificates or social worker or mental health worker, all sorts of things like this that I specialize in, and people never give me a chance. And it's not because I don't have the right certification. It's probably because I'm a thinking person, so I'm not a good domesticate for their culture, which is pretty useless most of the time for the industry that they work for, which could be a mental health. For example, the Canadian Mental Health Association, I have enough data to show that it actually creates more mental illness in Canada than it kind of reduces. So anyway, so for the so let's say here in BC, they would like to compare me with somebody that has a teacher's degree. Well, the difference, or the reason that they don't hire me, that they hire the other person, is not really the teacher certificate. It's more that I'm good at what I do, and it intimidates everybody else. So they just kind of hire what fits their culture, right? And somebody that will just keep doing what doesn't work and be excited once in a while when there's a new idea. They apply a little, which is really so slow the way they do this progress, and it's actually really outdated most of the time. But most of them are just happy to feel good about themselves and some sort of imagined personal development, one tiny step at a time, that actually slows down the evolution of their teaching profession, and also cheats the kids out of what they really should be getting, which is an education on how to become human and not how to become domesticates. I've actually told a school recently, I said there's a big difference between a company or an institution or an organization in the industry of education and one that is in the industry of domestication. And unfortunately, I don't even think there is anywhere in Canada and most of the other countries I've talked to, especially Asian countries now, that are actually into the industry of education defined properly. So it's quite sad. And this is all predictable based on my theory of HSD, but it's still very, very sad. I mean, when I get a chance sometimes to work somewhere and do a great job and encourage them to ask me questions how I did, and this is like in 3 different provinces already, many times, is they never actually want to find out, because I think so differently than them, and they won't explain why that makes them uncomfortable, that usually I don't stay there long, right? And it's not because I do anything wrong, it's just because I make the adults uncomfortable, that perhaps they have to become learners as well to actually do good at what they do. Role modeling, lifelong learning is, for me, a mandatory criteria to be a teacher, but it seems to be close to 1 or 0% of the the cultures of educators are actually like this. It's all about domestication. So it's quite sad because domestication is actually more harmful. I mean, there is some learning in it, but you're learning to actually facilitate the status quo in a failing system. So it's quite cruel. It's quite cruel to do this to each other as a teaching culture and also to the kids. It's quite sad. So this was a blog mostly about education, and I'll film some more related to poverty and addictions and mental illness and things like that later on. Thank you.